Hello and welcome to Sly Tiger Gaming Podcast, Episode 6. I am joined with a panel of guests, starting with Todd.
Hi!
Peter.
Howdy.
And Tahi.
Hello.
Awesome. So, let's start the podcast with what we normally do. What is everyone...
Wait, what's your name? You didn't even say your name.
I'm nameless. But yeah.
Hi, Nameless.
Hi, nameless. That can be
Mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay,
Host
well...
X.
I did forget my own name. My name's Christian. Get that out of the way.
You're off to a flying start.
I'm off to a brilliantly falling with style start is what I would call it.
This is what happens when I'm not in control.
Anyway.
I'll apply some water to the burn. I want to know what everyone's been playing this week, so I'll start with Peter. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a load of League of Legends
You can
because the
play
end of
shit. You
seasons.
can say shitload.
Oh, sweet, cool. I'm playing a shitload of League of Legends because the end of the
A
season's
fucking
coming up.
shitload.
Trying to grind my rank up a bit.
Do you think you get to silver?
Yeah, I'm back in my silver promo again. So
Lucky you.
Right. Nicely done.
We didn't help that last night. We played with him last night, and well, not with his rank. We just played normals, and wow,
So
we are not good. Not good.
Glad I'm not still playing then, because I'll be even worse.
Tahi, so if you're not playing League of Legends, what have you been playing?
Still playing Hearthstone off and on. Still really enjoying it. Because I bought a 3DS recently, I've been playing Pokemon Y. And
Why not X? That's clearly the better one. It has the deer.
I just picked the first one up. Like, I wasn't looking at the cover. I just picked
Well,
it
you
up.
picked
as
the wrong
Pokemon.
one.
It's clearly the
no.
most important decision you'll ever make.
Well, don't hurt
I
yourself.
know. Yeah. Oh
When
no.
Professor says which one of these three Pokemon you want, you've already made the call up by the time you pick the packet up. It's GG, it's all over.
Are you interested
Well,
in the Ruby Sapphire remake, Tahi?
No.
No,
Not really. Because, like,
No,
I
it
just
is.
wanted to play the new Pokemon for the sake of playing the new Pokemon. And then...
Isn't there an ice cream Pokemon now? Like just a Pokemon that's made out of ice
yeah,
cream?
yeah. Dude, there's one that's a floating keyring and
Yeah, that's
a
enough.
sword.
What happened to that franchise?
Don't even bother. Like, I think they should just remake the whole
Reboot.
way of playing the game. But anyway, other than that, I've been playing Shadow of the Colossus, and that's a great game.
Ah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. So, yeah, on to the next person. Instead of arguing.
Okay, Todd, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Tales of Exilia 2 on PlayStation 3. It's crap. They've implemented this stupidest way of making, you know how like a lot of RPGs, they sort of put in methods to stretch the gameplay out a bit?
Yeah.
It's a little bit light on content. This one, basically early in the game, in a really weird scenario, you end up getting a very hefty medical bill. And it's kind of like if you've played Animal Crossing, how you owe Tom Nook a hell of a lot of money after he's done something for you. Like, you don't really get a choice. It's just, hey, I bought you this house. Now you owe me this much money. It's basically that. We saved you from dying, and now you owe us, it's like $1 million. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's a huge amount of cash. And just every few seconds, you get a phone call from this annoying weeaboo lady, and she's like, hey, give me money. And if you don't give her the money then, well, actually, I don't know what happens. It just pops up constantly, and you have to keep giving her money. And from what I've seen from people who have played a little bit more than me, supposedly the game, because it penalizes you by not letting you go to certain towns and certain areas unless you've paid enough money to these people. They'll block your train ticket. But towards the end of the game, it doesn't matter if you haven't paid it off or not. They just magically wipe the debt. And they're like, oh yeah, so you know how we made you spend all that time doing this? Yeah, it means nothing. The combat hasn't changed from from Tales of Exilia 1, which was good. This is not good. This is a bad sequel. This is worse than Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh, that's saying something.
Yeah.
That is saying something. Okay.
Yeah. Story's pretty dark though.
All right.
But doesn't mean it's good. Anyway.
Okie dokie.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
in the sky.
Right
Okie
over.
This is
dokie.
not a duet.
It is now. So I've been playing Killzone on PS4. Got it at
Shadowfall.
Shadowfall. I forgot the name of it. Mainly more because it's a very pretty game. We've now got a 60-inch TV.
Nice.
Yeah, the game really tries to push that it's a stealth game, and it just really isn't.
Oh.
It's just like a typical Killzone. Run in, fire off your gun, take people out. You know, you've got a little robot now that does things for you. So this robot can be little hovers around you. It's called an owl, and it can be your zip line. It can go shoot things for you. It can be your shield. It can go hack consoles for you. And it's a very pretty game, and I do like it. The story's actually interesting, because if the story wasn't interesting, I would have lost out a while ago. Because it's the same formula every time. Run in slightly quietly, make sure they don't set off the alarm, and then murder everyone. And then rinse, repeat in a prettier environment. Rinse, repeat in another pretty environment. Rinse, repeat. So, yeah, I got into that. Started playing about midday on Saturday, and the next thing I knew, it was like 9:30 at night, so...
Yeah, I saw that post. Yeah.
Didn't realise I've been playing it so much.
Your life.
Well, it was a good relaxing point. So, moving on, Todd is going to give us a rundown of the latest in gaming news. Do you want to take it away, Todd?
Yes! Okay. So... the Xbox One launched in Japan. No one went. No one cares. That's pretty much the summary of that story.
I've never
Sure shit, don't living here, like...
I've never seen dismal used so many times.
I feel really bad for the people who were hired to like promote it on the day. But like, yeah, Xbox One. Like, no one's there. Like,
They got
Poor
paid.
guys.
but then, I mean, that's a really easy way to make some money. You don't have to do anything. Just be there.
Yeah.
I suppose it's almost as bad as the job that Apple get for people to stand outside when a new Apple product is being launched and people are queuing just to clap them as they exit.
Yeah.
I have people doing that for me at work. Xbox also, a little bit more about Xbox. They released a snarky ad that basically saying that they cannot advertise Destiny. The ad reads as follows. So basically, it was a random link that they put up. It has a picture of a fragrance called Destiny with the Xbox logo on it. And it came with the little side comment of, okay, so here's the lowdown. Destiny is actually an epic new first-person shooter available on Xbox. The thing is, we didn't have permission to run adverts for the game, so we didn't. And then it goes on about, thanks for smelling something was up, blah, 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 blah. Which is kind of a bit cheeky of them, A, because like they have all these, like, because my understanding is the main complaint about it is that Sony is, partnered up with Activision on that, so they've been pushing it, quote unquote, as a PlayStation exclusive, even though it's on
Content exclusive.
Yeah, so they've been pushing it as like PlayStation's the main platform for it, but it's also it's PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and it's rumored to be coming to PC as well. Basically, Microsoft does this all the time, in particular with Call of Duty, so there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. So then, not long after that, the advertisement was taken down after it started getting some news attention, and now when you go to the website, it's replaced with a block of text saying, "Hi, there are some great Xbox One offers available at the moment. Please check with retailers for more information." All reference to Destiny's been removed, so I wouldn't be surprised if Activision sort of pulled the leash a little bit and was like, "Oi."
Well, they would have just signed an NDA.
Wait, you can't talk about that.
I wonder if you could get the original post on way back.
Oh yeah, it's all like the website
cap.
and stuff. Yeah, it was up for a good 24 hours or so.
Sweet.
So yeah. Speaking of Destiny, Activision has come out saying that Destiny is the most pre-ordered video game new IP ever. And everybody everywhere that has a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is just basically crying because they have something new that's had a lot of money thrown into it to play on their console rather than an indie game.
Because it's the first actual AAA
Like,
title
God.
for the new game.
Justification in my system.
Yeah.
Does anyone here play Resident Evil?
I played the first one, but none of the subsequent. Oh, I lie. I played number 5.
Okay. Resident Evil Revelations is getting a sequel called Resident Evil Revelations 2, and the long-absent character Claire Redfield is coming back as a playable character, and she is being joined by Barry Burton's daughter, who is a new character called Moira Burton. I call dibs on playing as Moira.
Right. Will we finally be able to run and shoot?
I don't know.
That's not a pressing issue.
That's not part of the game mechanics.
It always seems the stupidest thing. I'm in this zombie apocalypse, and I can either A, run, or B, shoot, but not both.
Well, I mean, to be honest, though, have you shot a gun before? Do you normally run and shoot?
I grew up on a farm.
Did you normally run and shoot at things, or did you normally plant your feet and take a good shot?
I had a summer job every summer, scaring birds, which involved doing laps around a vineyard on a motorbike, shooting a shotgun into the air.
See, now that's a game mechanic I can get behind. But that in the next video.
You didn't have to shoot anything, you just had to make loud noises with the shotguns so the birds would leave.
And finally, Nintendo has confirmed the new 3DS, because it has the word new in its title now, just to make it confusing. It's still going to be region locked, like all their other 3DSs, so no change there. Anyway, that's the news. I'm done.
Okay, then, so we're moving on to our first topic for the podcast, which is we're going to have a brief look at the Gamergate thing that's been going on in the news. Just to give everyone a quick rundown. Disgruntled ex-boyfriend we don't know. Published a bunch of
alleged scenario
defamations against his ex-girlfriend, which brought into light that possibility that editors are posting positive content in return for sexual favors. This, of course, spiraled out of control all over the internet, and unfortunately this has happened too close to the whole Anita Sarkeesian women in gaming thing, and they've all been lumped together into this one massive thing. So the people who are basically looking for an option to attack the women in gaming movement have made the Twitter tag #Gamergate it is an exact rip off the Nixon Watergate scandal, as it always is, even though there's absolutely no parody. And they have basically run with it. While most of it has, of course, been debunked, it exists as a fiery issue on the internet. So my question to the panel is,
what do you want for dinner?
Yeah. To what point is Gamergate do you think Gamergate will have a significant effect on the women's rights movement within gaming? Let's start with Tahi. Just a gut feeling. Just a gut feeling. I don't want to go too deep into this because it'll be 4 episodes.
Yeah, probably. If people are willing to stop being dicks about it, yeah. Like, if all of these other guys are going to stop flaming people, then yes, it should have some sort of effect, right? But that remains to be seen. Hopefully, some issues are resolved through this, and the overall community can stop being assholes. Because there's just too many as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, then, so... Right. Yep. Would be awesome if change could happen if, of course, the internet could stop being assholes, but I'll move the question on to Pete. Pete, you know that the internet is just filled with assholes who over and over again keep going.
Well, it's not unique to have assholes just to internet community. It's just that it's more prolific because people can hide behind their keyboards on the internet.
So do you think that this will slow the change, that anonymity?
I think it'll definitely bring to light all of those sort of issues and hopefully start to be a change. I don't think one incident at all is ever going to make a clear cut, as of Monday, we're now going to fix this, but it'll hopefully start bringing about change.
Okay, good. And Todd, my question to you is, with Gamergate having even the smallest legitimacy, because we have known in the past editorials have basically taken bribes, done that sort of stuff, like was it GameSpot used to take money for positive reviews?
That was a long time ago.
I know, but it exists in the past. Do you see Gamergate as actually a plausible possibility, or just one big defamation scheme?
I think that if they had taken the misogynistic shit out of their campaign, Gamergate would have a lot more legitimacy in my mind. There is and there has been a lot of cause for concern in regards to the games media and the wider games media, including bloggers, commentators, etc. You had the whole Doritos thing, the Mountain Dew Doritos thing, and then there was, like you said, there was the I think it was a Kane and Lynch game that that had a bad review on a gaming website that was heavily promoting the game, and they kind of, were like, hey, you're promoting our game and you put up a shit review, you need to change it. And then so the guy, rather than changing it, quit. And, good for him sticking to his morals and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think the problem is the two things have gotten quite murky. Gamergate says that it's about weeding out a lot of the corruption in games media, but most of the comments you find regarding it are just attacks mainly on women or people who are pro sort of women and a lot of diversity in the games media. So and in games spectrum. So it's hard to get on side with them, even though they do make some good points here and there. One thing I was going to say regarding the anonymity thing, if you look at a lot of people's Facebooks now, you find that people are more and more proud and don't care. They'll just blindly hate with their name and face right next to it. So I don't think anonymity is quite the problem there.
Do you think it's the linchpin of the issue? You think it's just a facet of?
I think initially it might have been let's expose them and see what happens to them, but it's not really the problem. It's more there's a pack mentality now.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the real issue there. I think the way it'll change, it'll be a slow one. And like Pete said, nothing's going to change overnight. But I think the change is definitely already happening. Not only are you finding that games media keeps reporting on it, even though if you ever read comments on things like Polygon and Kotaku and stuff, it's always people complaining about the fact that they're talking about diversity and stuff, and how is this games or blah 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 blah, all these ignorant comments, that sort of crap. But I'm finding a lot more developers and publishers are starting to really take notice of the bad look it gives them. I mean, earlier this year with Tomodachi Life, we had Nintendo backtrack on their comment about not including same-sex options. You've got companies like EA, which are more pro-gay. I don't want to say pro-gay as like a term, but they're a lot more inclusive in their titles. They made a big deal about some of the relationship options in the upcoming Dragon Age game. Yeah, got a mention for Dragon Age in. Got to always get a mention for Dragon Age in.
Quota set.
Dragon Age Inquisition coming out in November.
No, don't sell it.
Pre-order
Only
your
you
fucking
got
now.
paid for every
On a
time you
time
drop
limit.
that.
I really should.
All those plugins.
And then there was, with the whole Ubisoft thing, with the 4 playable characters in Assassin's Creed Unity, but not one of them female, and they got called out on that. And a lot of, because their answers just went up to snuff. They said basically it was too much work.
I think part of that problem was, well, yeah, and that should have been the answer for both of those people, both the Nintendo game and Assassin's Creed. Not, we didn't think about it, but it's a lot of work to recode a game at the last minute. Unfortunately, we can't include it in this title, but we'll look at it in the future. That's all you've got to say.
I'll give that answer for the... I mean, I'll let you have that for the Nintendo one, because that was a shipped and complete game before they brought it over. But this Assassin's Creed game is still being worked on. Yes. And then after they made those comments about how it'd be too much work, a lot of people who actually make games, not just PR spokespeople, came out and said that's actually not quite true. It's actually not... It'd be a couple of days' work. I mean, whether
but then I also saw a follow-up con. It's not just adding a new frame structure to your one playable character. You then have to go through all of the text and check gender specifics. How are you going to get into the room, sir? Or now you've got to have ma'am or sir, or change them all to gender neutral sentences throughout the whole game. There's a lot to it.
And those are like legitimate things, but the thing that they all fell on their face is they just handled it wrong. The people at Ubisoft were just coming all over... I don't know why I said that. Were just all over themselves, coming up with really bad excuses, and then started making references to the Far Cry game, and they were like, you spent ages coding in this elephant, you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah. I'm finding it's less and less an excuse now, to be honest. If you look at figures and stats, a quick Google search will find the answers there. The female population is embracing gaming. The male core demographic in terms of we play video games, it's not as big as people think. And so I think that if you're making an Assassin's Creed game, we think, yes, you're going to have an Assassin's Creed game, you're going to have 4 playable characters. At the initial concept designing stage, maybe that's probably the best time to start thinking maybe a female character would be appreciated. Maybe people want to play as a female. The Assassin's Creed franchise has a lot of a female user base. So I don't know. I think choice is good in these things. It would definitely diversify their portfolio. It'd open up the gaming spectrum a lot more. I think it would be a great idea. But
I guess it was their way of saying at some point someone slipped up. We all know they said the wrong thing, but they should have said we didn't think about a female. Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And the thing is, it's not just that company. It's the entire, well, not the entire, but the majority of the gaming media is whitewashed. All our protagonists are male. They're all pretty Anglo-Saxon. They're all
bald,
straight. Yeah. And the thing is, I hope this sort of brings about a slow change. It's never going to be radical. I'd love to play a video game that has maybe a religious background that's not Anglo-Saxon. The infamous game, most recent one on PS4, the protagonist had he was Native American, which was kind of cool, but it was very light. It was, here's a splash of diversity. I'd like to see that explored more, because there are 6 billion people on this planet. They all have different backgrounds. There's so much more to offer, and I think gaming actually would benefit if you had more of these options. Different characters, different sexuality, different religious backgrounds, different historic backgrounds, different, all of it. It can come in and it can help diversify gaming.
But here's, yes, I agree with everything you said, but you've also got to remember these guys are companies. At the end of the day, they have to ship goods for dollar value. And it's much like the movie industry. At the moment in the movie industry, we're in the let's make comic book movies. And you know that if one company's making it, everyone else will make one because that's what's in at the moment. Let's sell some tickets. It's the same with video games. We know that shoot 'em up, male protagonists sell. Let's make this video game, and maybe the scene is slowly changing, which is cool. I mean, I don't know if it's so much I don't want to make a female protagonist in a video game. It's just that I know if I make a male one, I'll sell some titles at the moment.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both.
But yeah, they will focus test at the moment, and the current graphics still likes the slow change. If someone released a game where the character had full-blown spiritualistic Buddhism background, it was spaced in Eastern China, his values were not Western, they were very Eastern. I don't think many people would feel they could relate to it, and it wouldn't, field test well when these companies are trying to look whether they can make $6 million off it.
Well, yeah, every game wants to be the next GTA. Like, they all want to have those huge sales figures. I mean, and look at GTA, like, they're up to their 5th core entry, and there's still no playable female there. The most diverse...
But they did, they've got at least a mix of race in there,
You can
every
call that
title's had a
slow
different
progression, yeah.
Yeah. They're not all white American males, are they?
But 2 of them are.
Yeah, out of 6 titles.
San Andreas.
No, I mean
had
out of the
colours.
most recent one. They added one.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
they've added a token minority to the game. But anyway, we're kind of gone off topic from what we were talking about.
Not
Way
really, because it's all basically the Gamergate. Yeah, was
Yeah, well, that's what we're
a
talking
very
about, right?
specific.
Gamergate.
No,
Which
but-
is what we've gone off topic.
No, it's not, because yes, while Gamergate itself is its own topic, they brought in the misogynist battle, and the misogynist battle is not just about women in gaming; it's challenging the status quo of culture in gaming.
Yes.
So I think it's still very relatable. Anyway, we are on time. This is going to be our first break, so we're going to quickly jump out of it, have a rest, and when we come back, we're going to discuss the future of the Xbox One. Okay, then welcome back to the slytigergaming podcast. In part 1, we covered gaming news that everyone's been
They
playing.
know. They just
They
listen
know.
to it.
Ah, they might skip ahead. No, okay. So,
Because of all the menus we give them.
gosh.
Keep it up, Chris. You're doing a great job.
No, I'm not. Especially Todd's going to cut me off at the ankles. Let's stop pressing that horn. Okay, so our second topic for the podcast is about the Xbox One. Primarily,
Doomed to second place this generation? Yeah, I've got the script too, motherfucker. I'll read it.
you wrote the script.
Ah!
So you're going to be asked last. Peter,
Hello.
do you see Xbox ever taking first place, and do you think it'll hold second place?
Yes, I do. For the same reason, I think Xbox is still around now, because they have a massive die-hard fan base. I think the fan base just hasn't moved yet. Xbox have, I reckon, the bigger base of hardcore target market. There is gamers out there that only own one console, they don't own a PC, and they're Xbox gamers.
And they've moved to PlayStation 4.
A lot of them have, yes, because of the whole crappy release, but there's still a large number of typically Call of Duty players that only owned one game and they play it for 18 months and never buy anything else and play it just on their Xbox and they smash it every weekend, that community will one day move from the Xbox 360 to their Xbox One and their sales will go back up.
And you don't think they'll ever be in jeopardy from the die-hard Nintendo movement, who only own a Nintendo and will only buy the Wii U for that one Smash Brothers game?
That is me also. I'm in that Wii community, but I own other consoles as well.
Yeah.
No, I think Xbox have their own little ecosystem. I mean, Xbox are terrible with PR, but he's even come out and said, I remember it was quite early on, he said, oh, well, we know that there's some Xbox diehards out there, we don't really need to market, and he's right to a certain degree. There are Xbox diehards. All they'll need to do is one day have a pop-up on their 360 that says, I'm going to turn off the 360 servers tomorrow, buy an Xbox One, and boom, it'll be done.
Okay, then, so, Tahi, because you're actually in Japan, this is brilliant, because the biggest story this week was, of course, that Exit 1 had a dismal launch in Japan.
I would argue that Destiny releasing was the biggest news story this week.
Definitely. Especially for me living over here.
How much of it do you hear? How much Xbox One news do you really hear in Japan?
Nothing. I didn't even know they were releasing it. I thought it was already here. Like this is how much I don't hear about it over here. Like,
join us on the ground with Tahi, yeah.
Because, if I talk to my students, right, I'm like, what'd you guys play during the summer holidays? And they're like, played stuff on my mum's phone or whatever. They're playing, like, these games called Monster Strike and Puzzle Dragons, right? Which is not only on 3DS, but it's also on smartphones, right?
Yep.
So they're obsessed with these games, and then it's either they're playing their Wii U or the 3DS, sometimes the PS3 or PS4, right? Depending on if they have older siblings or not. None of my students have ever mentioned Xbox to me. None of them. And I have over 1,000 students because I have 6 different schools. That says something, right? So Xbox is not going to be given any sales numbers from this country. Unless, because even the foreigners, they don't make up that much.
So you think do you think it's a waste of time for them launching in Japan?
If they're not going to target Japanese people specifically, and I don't know how they would, no. There's not going to be any support from here. That's my honest opinion, but I can't see any sales coming from here. Because they have their Wii U, and they've got their PlayStation stuff. The handhelds are more popular here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because they'll sit on the train for however long it takes them to commute somewhere, and they'll play their games if they're not reading some weird manga or reading a novel, right? Which is what I see whenever I go to Tokyo, right? I just can't see Xbox doing anything here because what games are coming out that's specifically target Japanese people or would appeal to them? They're not into shooting games.
No.
Some of them
Are we talking exclusives or just games that are coming to Xbox?
Just games that are on Xbox that would appeal to Japanese people. Because a lot of my kids
Todd
do
could probably name 2 or 3, but it's probably not enough to be a system seller.
Off the top of my head, straight away, they've got Final Fantasy
isn't also on.
That's what
on Sony.
That's what I said. It doesn't matter if it's exclusive because exclusive, no, but they've got some multiplayer stuff. But
because
it's fine.
A lot of my students, they absolutely love the hell out of Minecraft. And obviously, because, kids can get into that game and it's not a problem. And adults can also enjoy it too.
It's Lego's a video game.
Yeah, it's a good game. Right? A lot of my students... It is. It's good. Terraria.
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing, though, isn't it?
But even then,
it's like Minecraft
the objective is the
storyline.
same. But the game mechanics are completely different. But they're still getting into these sorts of things, right?
Mm.
Otherwise, if it's playing games that we're used to as a more Western-based gamer society, is Call of Duty, right? Yep. But that's not an Xbox exclusive. So, why would they buy an Xbox just to get COD when they have a PlayStation that has COD? So I just don't see where their numbers are going to come from, at all. Especially when they're more interested in playing games on their 3DS and games on their Wii U. Simple as that. Playing the old classics like their Super Marios, their Mario Karts, and Pokemon. They're also into this thing called Yokai Watch. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, there's the level 5 one.
Yeah, it's the latest Pokemon thing, right?
Yeah.
It's effectively, as far as I'm concerned, the same thing. Go around, collect a bunch of monsters, and do stuff with them, right? Same concept, but like that's where the market's at for not only my students but also the intermediate and high school students. Like they're into these sorts of things, and they're not heavy PC gamers, so like they don't really diverge anywhere from what's on Nintendo and what's on Sony.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear the Japanese perspective. So,
well, when I went to TGS, like there were Xbox like booths,
oh yeah,
but as far as I'm concerned, like nothing was unique there, and not many people gave a shit. There was always more people hovered around all the Nintendo stuff,
awesome.
and also the Sony stuff. Like they just don't care, and I just don't see a reason why they should.
See, the thing is, because like I thought Sony had a good launch in Japan, and Todd will know this. How good was the Sony PS4 launch in Japan?
I don't know, but
Todd,
It didn't. I don't think it did. Like, I mean, the PlayStation 4 is not doing gangbusters in Japan, from my understanding.
No, it wouldn't be.
No.
Although some of my students do have them. I'm like, oh, how do do you like it? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
What games have you got? And they're like, I can't really say anything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, once it finally gets a proper library, then it might be worth picking one up. But like as far as I know, it's like $350 US here for a PS4. What is it in New Zealand for a PS4?
549. 549. I think.
So it's considerably cheaper here to get one.
Still thinking this out. So my question for Todd is, can Microsoft salvage their image if they just change their focus? If they stop trying to beat PlayStation at the race, do you think they could just sort of set themselves up as, this is our console, this is what we do, you can have other consoles if you want? Do you think they can do that? Or do you think
they could, but you know that they're not going to.
I know.
Microsoft doesn't do number 2 very well.
Got a cream for that.
But the thing is, that's where they're heading this gen. I think that the time for them to close that gap with PlayStation 4 is getting shorter and shorter.
I'd say it's gone
by the day, if it hasn't already passed. It has been months since Microsoft has released any sales figures for the Xbox One. And every month, NDP in America, which is Microsoft's home turf, keeps churning out the same old story. PlayStation 4 wins that month. PlayStation 4 wins that month. It's the highest selling console every single month. So, they need to get... The problem they have is the price isn't the issue now. For a while, it was thought the price was the issue. It's not. They've taken the Kinect out, which, again, is just a whole nother fucking mess. But they took that out, which is supposedly their big whole, cannot operate without the Kinect. Oh, yeah, it can. Oh, okay, we'll take it out. We're not going to take it out, but we will take it out. And then they took it out. So they've done that. They've taken that out because people saying they wanted that gone. And so they've taken that out. And the problem now, and they also changed up Live a bit, so it was a little bit more user-friendly, and they matched PlayStation... Well, they're attempting to match PlayStation Plus with their free games. To be honest, neither service has been doing anything really great with that this year. There's not been many great games. Last year was fantastic from PlayStation, but no, this year's not been that great. What I think they need to do to get back in the race is to start getting some exclusive content, but not how they're doing the Tomb Raider one, which was the bait and switch, where basically it was widely assumed it was going to be multi-plat. Microsoft comes out, yep, this is now an exclusive, but worded it weirdly, got a lot of hate for it because they're not a very popular console. I think what they need to do is take a leaf out of Sony's book from last gen when Sony realized they weren't the popular console anymore and they couldn't rely on those big titles anymore. They started investing in smaller studios and getting their own content to really sort of define what Xbox is. Well, sorry, for Sony, what PlayStation is. So you got your Uncharted's and stuff. I can't bother going into all of them, but like they have their library of games. But Microsoft doesn't really have that outside of Forza, Halo, there'll be a Gears coming eventually, but these games are not very diverse. They're all sort of that same market. And so Xbox has sort of been tailored to the American market for so long that now that they don't have it in their pocket anymore, it's a bit of a worry to see what's going to happen with them. Speaking of Japan, so Microsoft have sort of just, come out and basically they've proven exactly what we all were expecting, that, they don't have content for the Japanese market. They've announced what they're taking to Tokyo Game Show. It's all American games. It's all the games for the Western market coming out this fall. There's no Japanese games there. There's none.
Were there any PlayStation 4 Japanese games?
Yes. Yeah, Sony did their pre-TGS show last week. There's a lot of stuff. You've got Persona 5 coming to PlayStation systems. You've got new Ys games, God Eater, which is sort of the Namco, Bandai Namco now, they've changed their name, answer to Monster Hunter. They've got all those games coming there. They've got a Dragon Quest Musou?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, game coming out. Like, they've got all this content coming for the Japanese market. So they're looking good. I mean, Tekken 7 will be coming. You've got Silent Hills being shown off at Tokyo Game Show this year. So the content's there. I mean, that game hasn't been confirmed for Xbox, but I mean, it's widely assumed it probably will be a cross-platform title, the Silent Hills. I can't imagine it would be PlayStation exclusive, but maybe it will be. I don't know. But I was just reading before, Square Enix has announced that they're diving cloud streaming service. And so they're going to be streaming 3 games from the start. Final Fantasy VII International, a murder mystery game called Season of Mystery, Cherry Blossom Murders, and probably the weirdest of the bunch, and probably it's be the most successful, but Final Fantasy 13 will be, you can stream it to your smartphone in Japan.
Wow.
And they'll be adding Last Remnant, Final Fantasy 8, 13, 2, and Lightning Returns over time. But weird. Anyway, that's sort of a side thing. And then you sort of, the other thing that's a bit weird is Microsoft's not even able to hold on to multi-plat games in Japan. Destiny, that's just come out, that's an exclusive for PlayStation in Japan, and now the upcoming Batman game, Batman Arkham Knight, if you go to the website for it in Japan, it doesn't say any other platform other than PlayStation 4, and it's right smack in the middle of the screen. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. But Microsoft, the thing is, Microsoft's still advertising it on Xbox Japan's website, but when you click on the link to the official Batman website for it, there's no mention of Xbox. So I don't know. It's interesting to sort of see this sort of role reversal of the different consoles, because, this time last year was sort of when it all started to come ahead, but at the beginning of last year, no one was expecting this. Everyone was expecting that Microsoft was going to eat Sony's lunch. And the other problem that they've got is a lot of the big titles that they've been promoting, like Titanfall, it didn't do so great. It did all right, but it didn't do so great. It wasn't the big system seller that they wanted it to be. It didn't win the American NDP sales for the month it came out. I think it was March.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the top selling console. They haven't been the top selling console since they've come out. So they've got Halo the Master Chief Collection coming out at the end of the year, but that's a remaster of a bunch of old games.
Yeah.
Halo will sell, but Halo 4 wasn't a huge seller like it used to be. Halo 3 was a juggernaut. Halo 4 was just a good seller. So we'll see. But I don't know. I think they're already done in Japan, unless they try and pay for more JRPGs like they did the Xbox 360 for a bit.
Yeah, have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I think... Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I think Microsoft needs to I don't even know what they can do anymore.
Oh, they need to
be
stop
honest.
going on about their bloody specs. I don't even think I cared in the first place that the Xbox One had inferior specs. But you see an article at least once a week talking about how they're going to finally push a game to 1080p. They're finally going to push a game to 60 frames per second. I just don't care, and that's not their bread and butter.
How much of that is Microsoft pushing that? How much is it just Games Media? Because a lot of the stuff doesn't actually come from Microsoft. They generally try and avoid that unless it's
But I thought that was their
already
whole pushing point with the Kinect. They were like, by removing the Kinect, we'll be
Oh,
able to...
they made that comment months ago. They haven't talked about that since then.
I just
They haven't
don't
talked
think...
about anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's not going to save them. And as we've just discussed, launching in Japan wasn't going to do anything to help them. Their games collection is struggling to do anything to help them, so...
They need America. If they don't get America, that's they're not going to get anywhere this gen. If they don't have America, they're not getting anywhere. I think they'll probably I think it'll end up this gen. Sony number one. Maybe Microsoft a close second if Sony's sales aren't sustained, but they probably will be because Sony tends to have a longer sales life in their consoles. And then Nintendo probably third somewhere. I mean, it's all kind of cool now that everyone's like, oh, Nintendo's coming back and they're selling well. In some parts of the world, yes, but I don't think that they've got all those big Nintendo franchises that sell the console, they, your Legend of Zelda, Mario Kart, those sort of games, they don't generally release more than one per cycle. You don't get normally 2 Mario Karts, you don't normally get 2 Legend of Zeldas, so each one only brings so many sales. And most of them are to the Nintendo faithful, so people who are wanting those consoles they've already got it or they're going to get it for that game, but I don't think that it's going to reach the same sort of levels. I think we're looking at maybe somewhere like the GameCube era in terms of sales. I don't know.
Okay then, so has anyone got anything last minute to say on the doomed Xbox One?
I don't think it's doomed.
I don't think it's doomed.
I just don't
so
think
if it's not doomed, would you buy one, Pete?
If they had some exclusive titles that I couldn't get on my 2 consoles or PC, yeah, I would.
So just for the exclusive title?
Yes, there's no sale feature outside of that I would go for, and I don't know if one title would sway it, but
I think
I've done a console switch before. I used to be a hardcore PS fan, and then I swapped to Xbox and then swapped back. I'm not a hard set diehard.
You could turn code again. And Todd, you're kind of similar, same boat, aren't you? They need an exclusive to buy you out?
It needs to be a really specific exclusive. So last gen, or for most gens, because I grew up with PlayStation, I sort of grew up at the PlayStation, Nintendo 64 sort of era. Those were the first sort of consoles that I got into gaming with. I actually wanted a Nintendo 64 for Diddy Kong Racing, but my parents decided that Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation was the same thing. It's not the same thing. Still a good game though. But so I sort of just stuck with PlayStation because I just liked how their portfolio is a lot more diverse. And then I got into Final Fantasy, so I followed that through the PlayStation 2 generation. For PlayStation 3, I was one of the deluded souls who thought that Versus 13 was going to come out for PlayStation 3. So I got it for that and Final Fantasy 13. And same with PlayStation 4. Final Fantasy 15 was the thing that sold me on getting a PlayStation 4. As soon as I saw that confirmed at E3 last year, I was like, cool. I mean, I was going to probably get one anyway, but unless they came out saying it was only coming to Xbox, I would have had to switch. So I think a lot of people do that as well. They follow the games. And this gen, I mean, most games are ending up on most consoles, but you're starting to see a lot more exclusive titles like The Order 1886, Uncharted 4. I was going to say Little Red Planet for a second there, but that doesn't really count. But like a lot of those Persona 5, that's another title that I am excited for my PlayStation 4 because I thought there was going to be PlayStation 3 only. So, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there. For me, it would need to be Persona 5 would be a good example. If Persona 5 was announced that it was going to Xbox One only, then I'd get an Xbox One for it.
So yeah, same boat as Pete. You've got to have an app.
It's got to be a really good, with the Xbox 360, I didn't want one, but I got one because I thought that Mass Effect wasn't going to PlayStation. There was Star Ocean. I thought that wasn't going to PlayStation 3, and then I got really annoyed when it did because I was all set to buy an Xbox 360, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, no, it is coming with all these extra features." Like, oh, fuck's sake. But whatever.
Okay, and Tahi, you actually have neither. Actually, I don't think you have much in the way of consoles except for your handheld. So...
It's a 3DS. Woo!
Yeah. So
I have a PS3, but in terms of what I currently play, yeah, in terms of what I currently play, because I don't give myself a lot of time to put time aside for gaming anymore. If I was gonna get one of the newer
Consoles?
generations of consoles, then
Yeah.
like it would have to give me a really good reason to buy one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to buy it just for one game. I want it to actually have some use. So I've never had an interest in Xbox. Simple as that. Because I'm not the target audience for that.
Yeah, same.
I'm not into the cover-based shooters. I couldn't give a fuck.
To be honest,
Like-
their current
like-
target base is people with money and a pulse.
Yep. So
Anyone
like,
who will buy one, they'll have.
yeah. So the exclusives that Xbox has, I'm not interested. Like Halo, sure, it's a fun game, but I'll never play it alone, and I won't jump online. I'll play with friends, but that's because they have it. I don't choose to like want to play that game. I only play it because it's there.
What about Gears or Quantum Break?
What? You talking about Gears of War?
Yeah,
Gears of War? I don't like that game, to be honest.
Quantum
I
Break.
thought it was pretty average. Quantum Break, I haven't even heard of that.
They did Alan Wake. It's that same
It's like
company.
a story based.
Oh, okay. Well, even then, like, I'm not really interested in that sort of title either. So there's nothing that Xbox has for me. PlayStation, at least, like, it had the RPGs that I used to like playing. And in the end, that ended up just turning into the handhelds that I was playing because it was still that old school style of how to play those games. Those mechanics were still there, and I still enjoy them to this day. So yeah, Xbox has no hold on me whatsoever. PlayStation 4, I'll pick one up if I find something worth picking up. I'll probably get one because it'll have Tekken 7.
Yeah.
So that'll be when I pick that up if I'm still interested in playing fighting games at that point, because that's where my interest lies. Real-time strategies, but that's mostly on PC. Fighters and JRPGs, like that's where my interests sit, and Xbox doesn't really do that for me.
Tekken 7 will be on Xbox One though.
But not exclusive.
Yeah, but
No,
why?
but I mean it's going to be on both.
Why would I want to switch to their shitty ass controller that's not really built for fighting games? It's
No.
better for FPS.
Don't hold back, Tony.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
I don't
Uh,
even know now with a PlayStation 4 controller. I would. I mean, has anyone got a lot of? I haven't played a lot of first-person shooters, but
Yeah.
I hear a lot of good things about the PlayStation 4 controller.
Well,
you played
wait,
You played
With the
Killzone on it,
Xbox
Chris.
Yeah.
How's that for first-person shooters?
First-person
Killzone.
shooters on every console are always the same because of the analog stick.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the analog stick is what you use all the time, and it just doesn't make a difference. That's why most first-person shooters are played on PC by the die-hard computer
Masterpiece.
yeah, like I
mouse.
want a mouse sort of thing. Yeah,
who can up their DPI by like 9,000.
yeah. I prefer the Xbox controller in terms of just how it feels for an FPS, just for where they're situated on the controller as opposed to the PlayStation
Have you
controller.
touched a PlayStation 4 controller, Tahi?
No,
Yeah, it is
no, I haven't
really
actually.
nice.
You'll be very
It's
surprised.
an
It's a lot better.
evolution of a controller, though. It's not a rethink. It's very subtle.
I like the touchpad, and I like the light bar, and I
Well,
like the heft
It
in
all
it.
fits. It's not
It's
uncomfortable.
definitely
If
my.
it feels good for an FPS, then like, then Xbox has no hold on me whatsoever.
Okay, so that sounds like everyone has the same story. They'll only buy an Xbox.
What about you?
Me? Probably never going to buy an Xbox. There are no games I die for, and I'm
Yeah,
very
so
much
we're the same.
Sony's got my hold. I like them. I'm interested in them. Invested in them. So yeah. Okay, so just quickly before we head on to our second break, we're just going to quickly cover the new games that came out.
Coming out.
Well,
Read the script.
yeah. It says new games coming out this week, and Destiny came out last night. I thought
Yeah.
Infamous.
Some parts of the world are getting it now,
Yeah,
as we record this on the 9th of September.
yeah.
But yes, anyway, I'll carry on.
Second game is Infamous.
Flawless segue. So yes, Destiny came out today on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PS3, and 360. Infamous First Light, the physical release of that is coming out for PlayStation 4 in New Zealand this week. You've also got Disgaea 4, A Promise Revisited, coming for PlayStation Vita. Naruto Shippuden. I'm not gonna-
Shippuden.
Shippuden.
Shippuden,
Yeah. You know, probably butcher that. Anyway, that
all good.
Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution Rivals Edition comes out for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Very last game.
And NHL 15 is coming out for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and
Woo!
PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, we're going to head into our second break, and when we come back, we'll sort out the bets.
Woo!
Welcome back to the final part of the Sly Tiger Gaming podcast. We're just going to go into our regular bet. Todd's going to use the foghorn for no real reason.
It's a reggae horn.
Sounds like a foghorn.
It's a reggae horn. You are deaf.
You were deaf.
Really, that's considered a reggae horn?
Yeah.
Yep.
It kind of does sound like regular beats. Okay, so the bet for this podcast is it's going to be similar to the Metacritic guess. I'm going to be rocking up a website called psnprofiles.com, which is a website that tracks about 2 million PlayStation players and tracks their trophy progress. And then compares them across... Well, I haven't put yours in yet. Tracks your trophy progress across the world and compares you to the rest, and also sees how well you're doing against other people. I pulled up Destiny.
We test out there. If anyone is listening, they should add me yourface27, so YOURFACE27 on PSN, and just say hi as a message. And if and then I'll give you a shout out on the next podcast if you do that.
Okay, Todd has plugged his PSN. Pete, do you want to plug your PSN?
No, I don't want a million randoms adding me.
I don't think there's a million people listening, to be honest. Just
you
got a
wait.
hunch.
Just wait.
So, because Destiny is the most pre-ordered game, is it ever, or just this year?
No, so Activision has said that it, according to, well, I mean, this is not official or anything, it's just Activision has come out saying that it's the most pre-ordered new IP for a video game ever. But,
Right.
show us the receipts.
So I'm expecting the trophy PSN profile part of their website to get a lot more traction between now and the next podcast. There is a ultra rare trophy on the Destiny game called Guardian Lord, which is the trophy you get for obtaining all trophies. It currently is sitting at 0%. No one has got it yet. My pledge to you guys is you guys need to guess...
Pledge? You mean...
My request to you guys is you guys need to guess the percentage it'll hit by the time the next podcast. Your percentage will need to be to 3 digits. So 1 point something something, 2 point something something.
Out of what?
Can I
It's out of
understand what the
100%.
percentage are? Like the percentage of people that have that trophy, is it?
Yes. So of course the super common
Is
ones...
it like out of 100? Is it out of
Yeah, it's
10?
out of
Like,
100. It's percentage.
Right.
So for example, the most common one, which is Shipwright, which is rebuild a jump ship, is sitting at 94.67% through the users.
and we're recording this next on the 20th, yeah?
Yeah. So
Okay.
on the 20th, the person...
Of
with
September,
yeah.
2014.
Celestial Cycle number 5. The closest person will, of course, win. So, Pete, do you want to go first?
All right. So I have to guess for the next video when we come here what the percentage of that achievement will be.
Yeah, how many people have obtained the Guardian Lord trophy?
So
Zero.
today is the 9th.
So Pete's going to go with 0?
So you think that within 8, 9, 10, like 11 days, I think.
2 million PSN players are not going to get...
Every single trophy.
No. Well, yeah.
So you get that trophy by having every single trophy, right?
Yes.
There's no one out there that probably has every single game that has trophies. There's
Well-
so many PlayStation trophies. I'm sticking with
No,
0.
no. It's
Every
for
single-
Destiny,
for Destiny.
isn't it?
Oh,
Just for Destiny.
I thought it was across the entire PlayStation network.
No. That would be a terrible bet.
Yeah, me too. I was like 0. Done.
Like,
done,
for
dusted.
example, Diablo 3, which came out...
So it's like the platform, the platinum trophy, right?
Yeah, it's the
So
platinum.
who's gonna? So it's how many people are going to get the platinum trophy for Destiny on PlayStation 4 by
The
20th.
20th.
Right? Okay.
The percentage of that 2 million user base.
Yeah. So, for example,
Okay.
Diablo
Yep.
3, their most rarest one, is currently sitting at 2.14%.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go
Okay.
3.18.
3.18 for Pete. Todd?
There's a lot of people playing that game. So
Yeah.
Well, are they trophy hunters though, or are they going to?
I don't think you can really factor that in. I think there's just a lot of people who are going to play that game to death.
The trophies
It's-
look pretty straightforward.
So I'm going to say for platinum, I'll go for a flat 10%.
10.00.
Yeah, flat 10%.
Tahi.
So they've got a week, right? Or 11 days.
Just
or
over a
whatever.
week.
You're just over a week.
Just over
11
a week.
days for 2 million PSN players to play that game.
But
There's more
what
than
have they
two-
got to achieve in the game to get this title?
They've got to unlock every trophy.
Yeah.
Every trophy.
Which is all sorts of things, like shoot the random chicken you didn't know you had to with the certain pistol. You know, there's random trophies in these games,
And I
man.
suppose you got to think as well, like,
Yeah.
there's an online component, and online trophies are always hard to get.
Yeah. Do this one mission with only people from Spain.
Oh, I want to
No?
change mine. I want to change mine to 7% flat. 7% flat.
7.00.
No, 5% flat.
Oh my god.
It just drops.
5% flat.
That is your last
I'm
change.
comfortable with flat. Yeah, no, lock it in.
Tahi?
Because I'm thinking that if it's anything like Street Fighter's trophy system, which is fucking impossible as far as I'm concerned.
It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah,
No,
so
it's an MMO though in some regards, you remember?
in some regards, okay. I'm gonna keep it fairly low. I'll go with like 2.12%.
2.12.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
I reckon there's still a chance
It
it'll be
also
zero,
depends on
man.
how many people are playing it. Yeah.
Mm.
Because
I
I
don't
mean,
think it'll
WoW
be
has
zero.
things like complete this 25-man raid with less than 20 people. Well, no one's going to do shit like that in week 1 of this game.
Yeah, that's not even gonna be possible.
But they...
People are playing the living shit out of this as
It's
we
been
speak.
clocked
though.
in 20 hours
Like,
though.
if you go look
Yeah,
at...
the demo stuff was clocked in
No,
20
no, no.
No,
game-
the current game.
game.
A lot of people are finishing it at the moment. Like, it's,
I'm not
it's not a
surprised.
huge game.
Within 24 hours of its launch, it's been finished.
But there's
Well,
that storyline.
Some people.
Storyline.
It's,
Yeah. Well, like WoW's storyline is about 1% of your time.
You got to remember, Destiny is not... It's diet MMO. It's
Anyway.
Michael's my first MMO.
anyway,
My
What is your bet?
currently Destiny is the second most streamed game on Twitch. It's
Yep.
got more than 49,000 people playing it right now.
my bet is 0.43%.
Okay.
I knew I should have stuck with 0.
Did you move it?
Yeah. Can I go back to my 0? We haven't
Yeah.
finished recording. Yeah, I'm saying at 0.
I want to change to
Todd,
1.78.
You've changed to 5, that's it.
I'm changing to 1.78 and I'm locking that in. 1.78.
For fuck's sake. So Pete 0, Todd is 1.78.
What happens if, like, everyone becomes a maniac and it's like 40% of the population?
Then
The-
Christian has to work it out and it'll be hilarious.
no, the highest
That'd be
score, which
hilarious.
should be Tahi at 2.21 will get it. That's how maths works.
I know, I'm looking through the current list right now, and it doesn't seem that bad.
Except for the fact you're missing the ones like Valoris, which has earned the maximum weekly Vanguard score. So you've got to beat out everybody else on that server. By the way, changes are locked in. No more changing.
Oh, I'm not winning that one.
Doesn't matter. So, as winner of last week's bet,
Yeah.
which is Todd,
Yeah.
for getting the closest to Dance Central Spotlight on Xbox One, the Metacritic score.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, first of all, that's a game. Second of all, Todd correctly guessed the Metacritic score. He will now introduce the song that we're going to
I was 1 point off. So it was... What was the Xbox the Xbox One score for Dance Central Spotlight? And Christian Cardiello had 80, Christian Young had 92, I had 75, and Amy had 82. And the score was 76. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Todd, introduce your song.
Okay, so the song that will be exiting our podcast today is from Chrono Trigger.
Ooh.
It's a great
Close to
game.
my heart.
If you haven't played it, you should. It is available on multiple platforms. Probably the easiest way to play it would be on your smartphone, or
Nope.
it's
Yep.
on both.
Just nope.
Yep.
It's on both. I would say play it on.
No, I'm
YouTube,
saying
yes.
nope to not playing it.
All right. Anyway, so this remix of it is like a post rock Britpop take on it, and it's from the main sort of theme.
Main theme, sweet.
Yep, it has been remixed by someone called JJT, and you can find it at ocremix.org and just search Chrono Trigger and you can find it there. The song is called... Oh, crap, where is it? Here we are. It is called Notes from a Small Island.
Okay, thank you very much. So that ends episode 6 of the Sly Tiger Gaming podcast. If you'd
You
like...
can catch us on YouTube.
I was going to do that, you know.
Well, then do it.
Just let him host it,
Todd's a
bro.
backseat driver now.
I know, right?
Yes, you can find the podcast on iTunes or f5.net. We also have a bunch of Let's Play videos up on YouTube. You can find us at Sly Tiger Gaming, and sometimes we stream on Twitch.
Subscribe on YouTube, Sly Tiger Gaming. Subscribe on iTunes, the podcast that you're listening to right now, if you haven't already. And it is Sly Tiger Gaming. And you can email us too, and that is slytigergaming@gmail.com.
I'll be very surprised if anyone emails us.
And Twitter at Sly Tiger Gaming.
Yep, so our panel tonight has been Peter. Peter, say your goodbyes.
See you around.
Tahi.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, and yeah, cheers.
No worries. And the backseat driver himself, Todd.
Live from the back seat. Have
You're
a
white.
everyone. Yes, I am white.
Gangster.
Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, very gangster, Todd.
Kick in the back of your seat.
You really want.